What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So, I hope you guys had a good Christmas and you're gonna have a good New Year's, or depending on, Happy New Year, I guess, if you're watching it after New Year's. Um, I know I haven't put up too much on the channel, just, the past few weeks, just because it was Christmas and then we had birthdays beforehand. It's a very busy week, busy month, I should say, for my family and for everything going on with me. So, sorry about that. We'll be back on track once we get past New Year's and everything. But I thought I'd do a quick review of Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. Managed to go and see that today. I know it's a little late for me, but, I don't have much time at the moment. And I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised by this film. I was pleasantly surprised because, when I first saw the trailer for it, I was like, man, this ain't my Jumanji. It's not my Jumanji. It's not what I grew up with, And I actually came out having such a blast watching this film. I laughed from start to finish. The cast was fantastic. It is a very, very good film. It's not a world changer. It's not something that's going to win tons of awards. But you want to go and have a good time and have just, laugh the entire time and, cheer yourself up maybe, something like that. Go watch it. It's very, very good. I was surprised. I was definitely surprised. So, like I said, this will be a short review, so I'll just, keep it pretty spoiler free. I won't go into anything. Only stuff we've seen in the trailers and stuff. But this film, I don't think it's really too bad if you find anything out. Like, it's just a fun film to watch. It's not anything spoiler heavy anyway. So, this, for me though, like, this film, you didn't have to put Jumanji in the name of this film. You really didn't. Like, it could have been anything Welcome to the Jungle. Or even just Welcome to the Jungle. It didn't even have to have Jumanji in it. Like, the only things that reference Jumanji is right at the start, they do a little sort of homage to, the original game itself from the original movie and stuff. And they did a somewhat good job of showing why now it's a game. So I like that. Then all it really turns into is, like, they are in a place called Jumanji. Like, they are in the game. But the only reason you realize you're in, like, it's a Jumanji movie is because they're constantly calling the place Jumanji. Like, it's definitely not that Jumanji 2, takes off from that original movie. It's not based in the real world like the first one was, where, the stuff's coming out of the game and affecting the real world, like in the house and all the rest of them, and down, like, stampedes going down the streets and animals everywhere. It's not that. It isn't that. It is in a video game. They're in this world, and they have to get to the end of the game to figure out, to get out of the game. That's it. So it's kind of like, what is the jungle like that Robin Williams' character from the first one had to kind of go through? Like, maybe that's what they're hinting at. That this was the jungle that he was in. Maybe. I think they just, like, here's Jumanji. Here's a concept surrounding Jumanji in a way. Let's just do it, and we'll use that sort of goodwill that Jumanji has as a movie. And we'll go off of it as a kind of sequel or a remake in a way, and we'll go from there. I think that's what it is ultimately down to. I mean, that's not to say, like, it takes away from the Jumanji name. I think it's a good movie on its own. I just wouldn't put it as a sequel to the original Jumanji. This is like a nice standalone thing using the Jumanji name. Cool. So, but that's not to take away from the movie. The movie, for what it is, which is a comedy, action-adventure film. And they do a damn good job at that. They really do. And being in a game helps the movie a lot, because a lot of the comedic stuff that comes from that is based on it being in a video game, being in someone else's body, and not, and being in a body that you're not used to at all. So, nerdy guy who's a bit scrawny, doesn't have much strength, has the big body, has the rock. You know, he's buff and he's like, holy shit, my muscles. Like he's like that, but he still has the, you know, the behavior, and he still has the, you know, the mind of him. Like you act the same way, the personality of the nerdy guy. So he's a little scared in places. He doesn't want to really take lead sometimes, and he's a little unsure, and he's scared of, you know, this big the rock, like scared of squirrels and stuff, you know. And then, you know, you got the big jock guy. He's in Kevin Hart, so it's basically just Kevin Hart constantly going at the rock, and that's funny in a way. Then you got the nerdy girl who's not, you know, she doesn't, like, she's just into school. She doesn't want to be the center of attention anyway. She's in the hot girl body, and then the hot girl is in the overweight middle-aged man. Yeah, which is hilarious, by the way. Jack Black, highlight of this film. And that's what makes this film, is the cast. The cast does a fantastic job here. Especially those four. Those four do an amazing job. I loved every interaction between that group. It was very, very good. So The Rock, you know, he's The Rock. He's gonna play that way, but he has the, like, nerdy, like I'm not gonna cry, you know, that sort of thing. And he's like constantly saying, like, I'm allergic to everything around me here, like, you know, that sort of thing. But he's The Rock. He has all the strengths, like he's super fast, super strong. He's got all of this stuff, and he's not weak. He has no weaknesses, so he's like the perfect character, the most OP character you can think of. And the being in a game does that as well, where each of the characters have their own weaknesses. Like Kevin Hart's, he's like a zoologist, and he's good at like a weapons valet. So he's got a backpack with all the weapons in it, and he's good at handing stuff to people. And his weaknesses are strength, speed, and I think endurance and cake. And like, yeah, they have some fun with those weaknesses and stuff. And then you get like Jack Black, who for me was the highlight. He was the highlight because he's basically a man pretending to be a girl, a very, you know, teen girl, you know, popular girl, Instagram, all this stuff, you know, all about herself. He's a man pretending to be her, who's now a man, sort of thing. So he does a fantastic job there. A fantastic job. And the whole, like, girl in a guy's body, the differences, a lot of that plays into it. They play that up. There's some very funny scenes involving that stuff. Very, very good. And then obviously you got Karen Gillan, who we're used to seeing in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, it took me a little bit to click, like, holy shit, that is Nebula. I thought she was great. I thought she was very good. She sort of, you know, she's the hot girl who should have all the confidence in the world. You know, she's got all the martial arts stuff, everything. But she's scared of most things. She doesn't want to be out there. Like, you know, and then she sort of has to be taught how to fight. And she has some very funny scenes with Jack Black and all that. So, all four of them. Very, very good. I love them all. And then, like I said, with the game, being in a game situation, it allowed them to go nuts with it. Allowed them to go over the top. And it to kind of not take you out of the movie. Like, oh, come on. That's not... Like, that's just over the top stupid. Nah, because you're in this sort of fantasy world. You're in this game where strength and physics and all the rest of it don't really matter. So The Rock can punch a guy through the ceiling and out into the sky. He can do that. And it doesn't make it, you know, look silly like it kind of does in Fast and Furious sometimes, where he looks like the Hulk just smashing a guy through a wall type thing. Then, like, you know, Karen sort of, basically jump kicking a guy off the motorcycle, but flying through the air to do it. You know, just over the top in that way. And then all the animals and stuff. It all kind of makes sense. And they can do some funny stuff with lives, because they all have 3 lives. But if they lose their last one, they die. They have some fun with that. Like, there's some funny deaths. You've obviously seen Jack Black's dying to the hippo one. There's some other very good ones in there too. There's also NPCs. So the NPCs, they have very limited dialogues. So they can't, they can only say a certain amount of things. And so they end up repeating themselves a lot. And they won't interact with certain characters. So the character will give this whole big spiel. And the NPC's like, hello. And he's like, generally looking at the Rock. Because the Rock is like the important character in all this. So, no, I liked the fact that it was a game. I liked the fact that it was a game. It worked well for this movie. I think if you really wanted to go with a true sequel to Jumanji, being a board game, being it affecting real life, would have gone down that road. But if you want to remake it and go another route and have more fun with it and, you know, go crazy and have all these funny characters, then this was probably the best route for them to do. And I had no problems, and I laughed the entire time. It was very good. Obviously there are other characters in this. You've seen Nick Jonas. He is another character that that our four sort of heroes, I guess, meet in the game, and he has his own things. There's also Rhys Darby, who's a New Zealander. He was very funny. He had his own little thing. He's Rhys Darby. If you know Rhys Darby, you know what he's like. There was a bad guy, Van Pelt. What's his name? Bobby Cannavale. I've seen him. He was an Ant-Man, and he was the stepdad. So if you've seen Ant-Man, you'll know what I'm talking about. He was the stepdad cop who was always trying to catch Ant-Man. Yeah, and he was just like this kind of little obstacle, really. The main sort of bad guy in this film is the jungle itself, and all the and the game throwing things at the heroes. That's really it. Like, you know, the minion, the sort of henchmen that the Van Pelt has on motorbikes and stuff. Then it's like rhinos and hippos and just a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah. So bad guys. It was not a big deal in this film. It wasn't. It was more the game is the bad guy, and you gotta fight with that, which is very Jumanji. It is very Jumanji. And then obviously you had all the young guys. You had the kids they were before they go into the game, and I think having them at the start, you see them at the start, and they're not in it for long. They really aren't. They're really at the start for a brief amount of time, and then sort of to set up their backstories a little bit, show them who they are, and then they go into the game. Then when they come out, they sort of show the results of being in this game together, going through this stuff, and sort of them growing as people. Basically, like, you know, what happened in the first Jumanji, where the kids go and see Robin Williams, and he's got his own family, and it sort of all plays out in that way. So it's sort of the results of everything that's happened, and it's quite nice at the end. It is a quite nice thing. The kids are all. It's a happy ending type thing. So yeah, they're not a problem because they're not really in it all that much. It's just their personalities that they set up at the start is what's in it, and the major actors play that, so it's cool. But yeah, no, overall, like, the story's silly. It's silly. It's not like gonna win you any awards for the story. It's your traditional, I'm trapped. I have to follow the game to get out. Basically, because it's a game, they can go a little nuts with it. There's a whole mixture of different things in there. Like, there's jungle, bazaars, flying in a helicopter, canyons, temples. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So they can just throw it all there mishmash in and not worry about it too much. But the thing, like, the major thing in this film is the comedy. That's it. The major thing is the comedy. The cast, interacting with each other. That's the big part. So yeah, I said it was gonna be a short review. So yeah, it was. I do recommend it. I say go out and see it when you can. It's not a must see right now. It's the holidays. You guys got time. If you're off work and stuff like that, I suggest going to see it. You can take the kids if you want. Take the kids. Take date night, whatever. I think it's all. It sort of suits everyone. It hasn't got much of a this is really the only people that can see it. It's a pretty broad audience, I think. You all have fun. And yeah, I think it's a very, very good watch. And I was surprised. I was definitely surprised. I was going in thinking, maybe it'll be okay. Like, they got somewhat a good cast. I'm glad that I was wrong. I was glad I was wrong. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.